Share with us what that is.
Thank you, Connie. So my name is Sean Tyler Foley. I am the author of The Power to Speak Naked, which a few of you have already purchased outside. What you may not realize is that all the proceeds from the sales tonight are going directly to Connie's charity of choice. So I'm donating it all back. The book launched last week. It's already been a #1 bestseller, so thank you. So any of the sales right now are just going to support a cause that I believe strongly in. Just out of curiosity, just can I get a show of hands? Who here had a personal connection to some of the stories? It resonated with you. Look around. Look around. We are all touched by mental health. And the more that we can empower everybody in this room, those who have already spoken and those who maybe are afraid to, the more that we can empower us to share these stories and connect with each other and build a community where we can get together and make a difference and make a change, the better off the world will be. I wrote my book not as a manifesto, not as a triumphant call to action, but as a whisper. As a whisper to that voice inside of you that may be struggling, that may be afraid to speak out. But if you look at what the power of voice has, if somebody speaks for the first time, you identify with it. Suddenly, you feel moved and motivated to change. And that's the power of story. Joseph Campbell wrote about the hero's myth, the hero's journey. Every one of these stories fits into the hero's journey. It's universal. We communicate through the power of story. Look at the mediums that are most popular. Why do we go to film for entertainment? We universalize all of these stories within ourselves because we recognize the truth within each of this, and that is we all experience the world the same way despite that we're different. So I would encourage you, and in fact, it's my mission in life, to empower you to tell your story. Because the power of story has impact and it has change. One of the things you may not realize is that one of the speakers here today has saved multiple lives just with the power of her story. I had witness of it because I got to speak with her in Invermere a year and a half ago. I was invited back to that very same conference 6 months ago. And at it, one of the speakers there came up to me and said, "Your friend saved my life." And I said, "How?" She said, "At the conference last year, I had planned that was my final day until I heard Vanessa and Jared speak." Now that speaker goes on and speaks about the struggle that she has with mental illness, the struggle that she has with suicidal thoughts, and the moment that changed her. And that moment happened because somebody was brave enough to come up and say, "I had the same thing." Our stories universalize ourselves and they have real impact. So I'm inviting you, if you are moved by these stories, to not stay silent in your seats, but to use your voice, to take the courage that they had to come up here today and stand here and do it yourself. It doesn't have to be to an auditorium of people. It could be a conversation with a friend that empowers them. It could be the simple act of listening to hearing what somebody has to say. It can be the power of film to tell a story. Whatever medium you have, poetry, use your voice. Speak it loud and clear because you have the power to change. Connie's entire movement is proof of that. Look what we're doing here today. So I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart for sharing with us. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here to support us. And again, if you would like to add further support, and if maybe you'd like to learn a couple of tricks on how to get your voice out there, my book is for sale in the front, and I would be happy to donate all of the proceeds back to the cause today.